Welcome everyone to Political Paradigm. I'm Terry Ikumi. My guest today is the former national chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA. He is now a member of the Labour Party seeking re-election to go to the Senate. My guest is Senator Victor Umeh. Distinguished Senator Umeh, welcome to Political Paradigm.
Thank you for having me, Terry. My pleasure.
After 20 years in APGA and served as national chairman, you decided to leave the party over what you described as unfavorable conditions in the party at the time. And you said that some highly placed people currently controlling the party did not want you to go back to the Senate in 2023. So let me ask you this. What exactly happened at that primaries, and who are these highly placed people that you say did not want you back in the Senate?
Well, I think I would like to approach this question this way. I'm a member of the Labour Party now. That is correct. And our slogan there is forward ever, backward never. Whatever may have happened in APGA, I shouldn't be talking about it as a matter of fact, continuously. It has happened that I have left the party, moved to Labour Party on the invitation of the presidential candidate of the party, Mr. Peter, who I have worked with, over the years to build APGA, making APGA what it is actually in Nigeria today. And when he left, I stayed behind for another 8 years. So it is only right to say that I've also moved on. And what will concern me now will be the things that we'll do ahead in contributing to nation building and playing an active role in the search for a new leadership for this country. And that's what I'm doing with Labour Party right now. In
all honesty, it will be really difficult to speak with you and not speak about APGA. I mean, you've spent decades in APGA. You're one of the founding members of APGA.
Correct.
And you've only been in the Labour Party for just about a little over a month.
2 months.
Exactly. So it will be difficult to speak with you without speaking about APGA. Now, you left APGA basically because you were aggrieved. At the time after the primaries, you scored about 151 votes. You lost by 11.
Yes.
And you were not satisfied. A lot of people were concerned that that was not sportsmanship and you did not respect the party's position at the time. So it will be difficult not to speak with you. So my question to you is, what exactly happened?
If I want to go back to that, what happened, I will also tell you that even after the result had been declared, people started calling me to tell me that I actually won the election. Something happened, And being somebody who is experienced and have garnered so much experience as well in the politics, it's very difficult for me not to admit when I see a hostile environment. And if you see a hostile environment, you have to make adjustments. Maybe if Mr. Obi had not invited me to come to Labour Party, maybe I would have decided to do it differently.
You would have stayed back in APGA?
Maybe become a dormant member. But I saw an opportunity to be active and to help in fighting for the creation of a new leadership in Nigeria, which Mr. Obi is presently leading. I saw so much hope in that. So my crossing to Labour Party was not primarily just because of wanting to run for Senate. It's an added opportunity as well because I know that my people wanted me to go back to the Senate, particularly my party members. You can imagine a situation where the environment was hostile. That's the only way I want to continue to describe it, without mentioning anybody's name. They know what they did, and I saw it, and I have evidence that the environment has become very hostile. I stayed true to go through the primary.
Well, why did you stay through the primaries?
I stayed through the
But then why?
primary. Yeah?
If you were sure that everything was rigged against you.
Yeah, it was planned against me.
Exactly. You were sure before the process concluded that there were plans against you, because you did say that you had a problem with the delegate list. You also did say that some delegates were being asked not to vote for you.
Yes.
Why didn't you raise the alarm at the time?
You didn't follow the events, Terry.
Exactly.
But
so why didn't you raise the alarm at the time?
You see, I'm sure they were shocked by the outcome of the primary too, that I lost by 11 votes in the end. It was something that was programmed to embarrass me. But I decided to fight it because this was a party I labored to build. You said it. For 20 years, I was the most visible face in ABGA. I was very passionate about that party, and I fought and defended it from the hands of opponents and those who wanted the party to die. I did, and those my contributions didn't go unnoticed, including with the party members. So it was a unanimous decision for me to run for that position in that primary, because I had to do a tour of the 7 local governments before I declared to go and ask the party members, would you want me to run for Senate, to go back to the Senate? It was a unanimous decision in the 7 local governments when I went round. So they knew it was not going to be an easy thing. Even when I saw the challenges and the pitfalls ahead, I decided to go into it because I knew the party people would do. If they had left them to do it the way they wanted, of course, nobody would have beaten me in that primary.
Does it disturb you that the chairman sat back and allowed this to happen, Victor Oye?
Yeah, it pleased him that it happened. And I don't want to bother myself with that.
When you say this happened and it pleased him that it happened, here's what he had to say. He says that under him, you ran unopposed in 2019. And
he didn't stop anybody from running.
And he supported you.
No, he didn't support any. He didn't ask anybody not to run.
He said
nobody appeared to run against me. The party people decided to leave it for me. Yes.
Well, it was under him, and he said...
He couldn't have manufactured
He said he supported you at the time, and he believes that for you to be aggrieved at this point over a process that he considers free and fair shows ingratitude.
He said this to you?
Yes, he did.
He must be very insincere to himself. He knew what he did to stop even delegates from his own local government to vote for me. You know what his wife also did, calling people not to vote for me. They were desperate. This is something you just do independent investigation with the party member. They'll tell you what they went
through. Was there an initial rift between both of you for him or his wife to take this stance?
Yes, of course. In 2018, remember I condemned the way he managed the party's primaries in 2018. It was common knowledge. I wrote a mail to the governor and objected to the way he handled the primaries in 2018. That was it. So from that moment, no love was lost. We just managed ourselves. But that's why I said it is better to leave those things that way than to go back to it. Because a combination of factors led to the conspiracy to stop me.
You know, while you accuse him of fraud, a member of the Board of Trustees...
I didn't accuse him. I didn't accuse him. People...
It was you who wrote the letter to the governor?
Yes, I was reporting things that were brought to my attention.
So while you championed that allegation of fraud against him, in 2020, I believe, a member of the Board of Trustees of ABGA, I think his name is Chief Ziggy Azike, alleged that it was you as former chairman, him as chairman, and then the governor, Willie Obiano, who defrauded or destroyed the party with corrupt antics.
No. He was aggrieved. And he later apologized to me because even though he is dead, now I attended his burial, he apologized to me. His outburst was unnecessary because I wasn't an officer of the party at the time these things happened. I was in the Senate, so I didn't play any role in the management of the affairs of the party. When things got out of hand, they had to come back to me, with their complaints, which I was compelled by conscience to bring to the attention of the governor. That was what I did.
His concern at the time was that the way the party was managed by all three of you at the time had affected the possibility of the party spreading to other southeastern states. He specifically spoke about Imo State and how APGA had a huge chance in Imo State, but the management of the party compelled members to go to the PDP and the APC.
I handed over the party to the current chairman in 2015, and this thing happened in 2018. I wasn't anybody managing the party. You know, because I was very visible in the life of the party, everybody will always want to come to me thinking that I'll perform one magic or the other when there are challenges and things like that. But I wasn't in the leadership of the party. But then I was a member of the National Executive Committee of the party quite all right, but it was only if I was invited to any meeting called by the leadership.
But then
as to the party not being able to move to other areas, if that was one of the allegations by Ziggy, it wasn't being fair to me. In 2011, under my leadership, we won Imo State, and Okorocha became governor through APGA. At that time, we had APGA Governors Forum, you know, because Peter Obi was governor in Anambra State, Okorocha was governor in Imo State. So that expansion, I achieved it. You know, we had two governors, we had two states under our control. It's just that 2 years after Okorocha moved away, I went to join them in forming the APC. You know, but I stayed back, worked very hard. In 2015, Dr. Alex Oti won again in Abia State. If not for the electoral banditry of that period, he won in 14 local governments out of 17. And magically, they swung the election to the other side with only 2 local governments where they built 2 pyramid figures, 82,000 and 42,000, using these 2 local governments to offset his victory. Fraudulently.
But why do you think that that APGA has failed to cross borders beyond Anambra State? Because if you recall clearly, that party was formed almost as a southeastern eastern party. And I think the slogan is Nkabo Nkai. Did I get it right?
Don't bite your tongue.
You see, I'm making effort. So I think that means this is ours.
Yes, very well.
So clearly, it was supposed to be a southeastern party, but
it
hasn't
was formed
been able
as a national party. But the truth is that because Dim Chukwemoko Nogojuku joined the party, it became a big movement from the southeast. You know, just like Alliance for Democracy was formed as a national party, but it found its roots in the southwest. You know, it is like that. Every political party has its own origin, and with time, you can spread across the country. So the party had strong followership or following in the southeast. Even at that, the authorities at that time in the country, the leadership in the country didn't want the party to grow. If the party won elections, the victories would be taken away. And we suffered that so much. Even Mr. Peter Obi that became governor, he won in 2003, but his victory was taken away and given to the PDP. We had to go through a very strenuous judicial process to get him declared winner in 2006, 3 years after the election, before he got in. So everything at that time was put on the way of APGA for it to be stunted, that it should not grow, you know. But because of that extra effort and energy we put into the struggle, that's what made me even popular in Nigeria. Fighting these electoral injustices against APGA in the southeast brought me to national limelight.
Let's talk about you leaving the party now. In 2019, during the crisis in that party over the governorship tickets, I recall that you said, and I quote, "Whatever happens in this party, I have more than any other person's interest in the party.
Yeah.
I am the #1 person that will see to the protection of this party."
Yeah.
Now, fast forward to 2022. Yes.
Okay.
Fast forward to 2022.
Are you talking about 2021? There was no governorship election in 2019.
No, I said in the build-up to the ticket.
Okay, build-up to it. Okay, that's very well. That statement is also correct.
Excellent. So fast forward to 2022, you left the party. So my concern now is, how does it feel to leave a party that you say you've given so much to?
Yeah. Well, the party is not a personal property. because I give in my best in any organization I find myself. I gave ABGA so much of my time and energy to make it grow, because I believed in the vision of the party, the reasons for registering it in the first place as a founding member, but it got to a point when, if it's no longer possible that you should continue to play any role in sustaining that party, you will be foolhardy to force yourself in a system where you've become an enemy of some sort. When people don't look at you with good intentions.
But you did promise as well. You did promise as well that regardless of whatever fracas may arise within the party, that you would not leave. And you said you made this promise to Dim Odumegwu Ojukwu at the time. Do you not see this as a promise broken?
No, it's not a promise broken.
But you promised him that.
No, what he told me was to ensure that the party does not die.
And you said
the party has not died.
But you said he left the party in your care.
Yes, but not in perpetuity, because the party has succession plan in the constitution, so you cannot be there forever. If I were to be chairman of the party, permanent chairman, then it's until a responsibility will be hung on your neck forever. But you play a role, leave. I did play that role, and very strongly too, to the admiration of all and sundry, and handed it over nearly 8 years ago. If those who are managing the party now think that they are maybe operating under your shadow and they don't like it, it will be unreasonable for you to continue to remain, to do those things you are known for. So sometimes you give chance. And coming to what led to the last point of my leaving the party, it's not only we have a new governor there. We have a new governor. I labored so much also last year to ensure that he won. I'm sure he followed it too. If he has also a disposition that maybe you should take a bow, then you take a bow and go. What are you struggling for?
Was that his disposition as well?
If he supported my being the candidate of the party, the way I supported him last year, for him to be the governorship candidate of the party, what happened wouldn't have happened. Yes. You saw last year I was everywhere, both on Chinese television, everywhere, fighting to protect him. Even his opponents were disqualified in the primary to ensure that he became the candidate. Didn't it happen? And the party went through crisis of some sort. Some phantom leadership were created all over the place. I was always on television clearing the whole thing. And I was always with him in the campaigns. I brought life into the campaign,
Did you reach out to him when you sensed that there were forces trying to prevent you from winning that primary?
Yes, of course I did. He said there was no problem. That's why I said I don't want to discuss it, because he knows some of these things too. At my age, I'm 60 this year. I'm in a position to know where I should be in my life and when to leave a place. Like our people say in a proverb, you don't tell an adult to get out of the sun. You don't get out of the sun.
Did you reach out to the governor, Governor Soludo, and the APGA chairman before you took the decision to walk away from the party?
Even since the primary result was announced till date, the chairman has never called me.
Did you reach out to him
What am I reaching out to him
before the elections?
Of course, I was everywhere.
And did you reach out to them after the elections?
What am I going to complain about?
You were aggrieved. You were aggrieved at the time.
To get what done? To go and reverse the result of the primary or what? The result was what they wanted. I saw it clearly, and I had to move.
Senator, while you say that what transpired at the primaries is not favorable to you and unfair to you. There are those who say that compared to what happened in 2013 when you were governor, when
who was governor?
When you were chairman of the party, I beg your
correct,
pardon, and then Peter Obi at the time said that you as national chairman imposed Obiano as the APGA governorship candidate for the November 16 polls.
No.
But that's a similar thing.
No,
that you've been made to go through.
It's not a similar thing. That 2013, had its own issues as well. Remember that the current governor also took part in that primary, and he was not cleared to participate in the primary. It may also be part of the reasons where some of these things are happening. Because I told him that the governorship has been zoned to Anambra North senatorial district, that he shouldn't go ahead after we had discussed that elaborately, as a way of achieving a reconciliation between me and Mr. Peter Obi at that time. We came out from a legal tussle that I won. And by before then, he had agreed with the Anambra North senatorial zone, and he would hand over to them, as a means of rotating power in the state. When that was agreed upon, I asked the current governor, Professor Chukwuma, not to run anymore, because I wanted him to run. It was my preferred choice at that time. I said, since he's from Anambra South senatorial zone.
It was not a party decision, was it? Because Peter Obi was in APGA at the time.
Yeah, it was.
And he felt that you imposed Obiano on the party.
No, he didn't feel. It was part of the decision.
It was a statement from him.
No, it was part of the decision. So
what was the cause of your rift with Peter Obi at the time?
Political jobbers. Don't you know that if you become head of state today, there are people who want to be more powerful than you. People who help you, people you spend the evening with after work. They start influencing you with one kind of story or not. But Obi's disagreement with me was purely on principle. And some people around him told him that I shouldn't be dictating, that I'm not the governor. And that's how the misstep started. They undertook to remove me as chairman of the party. That's what you saw. They formed stakeholders and continue sacking me in various cities. They sacked me in Kaduna. They sacked me in Abo. They continue sacking me. But those things were unconstitutional.
You were also arrested by the DSS.
Yes, I was arrested by the DSS.
And at the time you believed it was Peter Obi who did it.
No, the DSS was in 2016 even.
Yes, but at the time
then I had left office as chairman.
You believed it was Peter Obi.
Peter Obi had left the party.
Well, you believed it was Peter Obi who was responsible for it.
Well, the people who were responsible for that cannot be pinpointed, but the search for it must be coming from their own end, because at that time, I had gotten the Anambra Central Senatorial election nullified by the court. A rerun was ordered. A rerun was ordered for 5th of March.
Are you saying that at the time, you did not believe that Peter Obi, or you did not accuse Peter Obi of being responsible for the arrest, or you now see...
I didn't accuse him, but people felt...
Your camp did.
Yeah, yes.
Your aide did.
Yes, let me give you the story. When that election was nullified on 7th December 2015, a fresh election was ordered. The INEC fixed 5th of March for the fresh election to take place. That's the rerun election. And suddenly on 29th of February, a federal high court in Abuja here ordered that PDP would take part again in the rerun election against the provisions of the law. When that happened on 29th, on the 3rd of March, 2 days to the scheduled date for that election, the DSS has arrested me and whisked me to Abuja. So people felt that all these things were happening because of the election scheduled for 5th of March. So it was reasonable for them to suspect that
No, it wasn't people who suspected. As I said, your camp, your aide accused Peter Obi.
Which of my aides was that?
Your aide, Stan Okeke.
Okay.
He responded to that.
Yeah, because...
He accused Peter Obi. You did not debunk his statement.
No.
Peter Obi's aide had to respond
at that time, things had gotten very unpleasant. Anybody can feel...
But I believe the concern now is, if you were sure that it wasn't Peter Obi who was responsible for the DSS picking you up and someone from your camp, your aide, your direct media aide.
Okay, now that you are not talking about camp, let me now say that his camp.
Whose camp?
Peter's camp was behind the truncation of the rerun election with the court judgment the PDP obtained, because he was in PDP. His camp obtained the judgment, you know. So some of these things are things you don't need to go into to comb, because if you start combing it, you go deeper to the well.
You know, why you talk about this and you try to link your arrest at the time to the elections.
Yeah.
The statement at the time was that you were arrested based on possible links with IPOB and MASSOB.
Yeah, that was an accusation. His camp. Yeah. Because when I was arrested, I got to the office of we came from Oka by road. You know, I was arrested like a terrorist, you know. When we arrived, I was put face to face with the Director General of the State Security Service then, Lawal Daura. You know, he interviewed me, and I told him, because he was reading my charges from his phone, I told him who sent those allegations to his phone. I told him. He said, no, nobody. I said, I know who did it.
When you look at how far Peter Obi has come in his quest to be president, and you look at the Southeast and the clamor for power to shift to the Southeast, do you see a unity among the people of the Southeast behind him?
It's not even Southeast now.
No, just a second. I agree. I'm specific.
Yeah.
I'm specific because I said that the Southeast have said that they want power to come to them. Now they have one of theirs as a front runner. Does he have the backing of the people of the Southeast entirely?
He does have. He has. You'll see it when the elections come next year. People will vote for him massively from the Southeast. Even when he was a vice presidential candidate to Atiku in 2019, the whole Southeast voted for him.
Well, you recall that Ekweremadu, former Deputy Senate President Ekweremadu, has said that the people of the Southeast will vote for PDP.
That's where it is wrong to make some conclusions. When an individual makes a subjective statement, you begin to apply it to the whole. You know, if somebody from the Southeast says, Peter will never be president, it's only a lone voice. Remember Governor Umeh said that the people of Ebonyi State will vote for APC and not Labour Party and Peter Obi. His people came after him. He was forced to deny. He withdrew it. You know, even Ekweremadu corrected that when it became hot on him. He said he never said it. And people played back where he said it. But he had to deny it. So what I'm saying is that when you are talking about a group of people, an individual's opinion do no longer matter. Because sometimes you give weight to such statements because of the person involved. In Nigeria today, nobody controls anybody, you know, politically. That's why I've continued to say that when people judge what will happen in 2023 because of the structure you say you control, because you're a governor, it's a mistake. Because what is happening now in Nigeria is that people who are controlling the supposed structures will not influence people in that structure on what they will do on the election day, because people are suffering. Nobody will want to sustain the hardship in the country today by doing the wrong thing. Yes, the system has been there that some people have garnered people around them, but I can tell you that they have been separated from their leaders right now because of the failure of leadership in the country. So somebody who is judging himself by structure that he possesses may be making a mistake. Otherwise, why should an incumbent governor lose in Osun State? The governor of Osun State had all the structures of governance in Osun State, and PDP defeated the governor. Adeleke defeated him.
And some would argue that the PDP also has structures. I mean, it's the biggest
What
opposition
structure did they have in going into the election? There was nothing like PDP. What they had was a latent goodwill that the Adeleke family has in Osun State. You know, they didn't have anybody. They had no local government chairman. They had no councillor. They had no senator. They had nobody. So, and these are the structures people look at. They didn't have any of these. And the electorate, the voters, decided who to vote for. And they succeeded in getting Adeleke win the election. So that's what I'm telling you.
You know, when you talk of structure, some would argue that there are at least 190,000 polling units across this country.
Yeah.
Of this 190,000, you need agents in all of them.
Yes.
That is one of the structures that people point to and question if the Labour Party, as it is now, which is only just getting popular because of Peter Obi, would be able to pull those structures in all the polling units of this country.
The voters have become the structure. You know, what happens today is that because of the shift, the paradigm shift today in the conduct of elections in Nigeria, rigging is no longer possible. It's only when rigging was the order of the day that you put your trust on your structure, where people will be intimidated, ballot boxes will be carried away, voters will be intimidated, all sorts of things can happen, and you maneuver the election to who you want. The Beavers machine, which is now the anti-rigging machine in town, has made it impossible for you to determine the outcome of any election, except the voters. Because once you vote, that's it. Nothing will be added to it. Can't do anything. Whether your structure, they're all there waiting, they can't change the results. The electronic transmission of results will make it possible that the result of the polling unit will go to the server immediately. You know, INEC central server. You said nobody is waiting for final declaration of results today to know who has won an election. By midnight, people have computed the results by themselves. You know the winner. INEC officials will just complete the process and do the same thing. That was why, as early as 10 a.m., the Osun governorship election result had been announced. Before 10 a.m., final results. In the old order, because you have so many things to contend with, irregularities, and so sometimes it takes 2 days before you declare the result of an election. So anybody who is hoping on structure to manipulate this election in 2023 is not in tune with the realities on ground. The voters will cast their votes and ensure that nothing happens to it.
What do you say to those who say that the Southeast rallying behind Peter Obi may just be wasting their votes, considering that they need other regions to win? One of those who said that is a chieftain of the New Nigeria People's Party, Umeh Jibrin.
Well, people make all manners of claims, you know, and they said too that they will not vote for Mr. Peter Obi. Is it not true? But those things have changed now. Because when you see the mood of the people and their reactions going forward,
Who said? Who said?
No, I saw Pampaso say that on China's TV that the North will not vote for Peter Obi. He said on Politics Today.
You think the North will vote for
I had
Peter
to reply
Obi?
him. I replied him. I said he wasn't talking like somebody who wishes Nigeria well. All that has changed now, because if you look at Mr. Peter Obi, he is the only person who has a vice presidential candidate, a running mate, who has balanced the needs of the Nigerian people in that presidential election. Senator Dati, Yusuf Baba Ahmed, two of them are the best pair in Nigeria today in terms of qualification, in terms of energy, competence, and everything. You know, people have placed so much hope in Peter Obi and Dati Ahmed. So any other person saying anything different now is just talking because he's a politician.
But then
politicians will always claim that they have won everywhere.
Yeah, but the Delta State governor and the vice presidential candidate of the PDP, Ifeanyi Okowa, says that Peter Obi is a good man. However, he lacks the federal experience. to run the presidency?
That's what I'm telling you. That when people are struggling to breathe, they say all manner of stuff. They are choked. A P2B phenomenon in Nigeria has choked all those who say they have structures. Because even the movement, they are not able to create it in their so-called big parties that have structure. The momentum, the obedient movement has created in Nigeria. You wake up in the morning, you see somebody posting something from Zaria, from Medugri, from Gombe, for P2B. You know, they're puzzled. People are donating offices across the north, painting it Labour Party color. And we are there saying that they don't have structure. So those people who do this voting in 2023 have become the structure. Okowa couldn't have said that. He's a vice presidential candidate. It means that somebody who is a vice presidential candidate can be a president. Is it not true? So what does he have that is better than what P2B has? P2B was governor for 8 years in Anambra State and served out in 2014, 8 years ago. He had served as governor for 8 years. And he says he doesn't have experience. He's just still serving his second term as governor, you know, in Delta State. I don't want to join issues with people who are jittery. People are jittery already. And the only thing they want to do is to divert the attention of the voters.
Were you looking forward to Labour Party NNPP merger?
We tried to see if it could work, if it could happen. I was in the team that discussed with the team from NNPP, and we had our meeting on the 15th of June. It was deadlocked. We couldn't agree on who shall be the presidential candidates and the other device. NNPP said it must be Kwankwaso. We felt otherwise. It was not...
Why did you feel otherwise?
No, one is that personally and popular view too was that the next president should come from southern Nigeria. You know, we've argued this severally in the past. It's still a thorny issue today. And we felt that Buhari being coming from Katsina, serving out 8 years, the next state to Katsina, Kano, should not be producing his successor. You know, these are things we had argued that should be taken seriously to maintain the unity of the country. When people feel very strongly that there should be balance in the things we do, you cannot wish it away. So if you say it doesn't exist, then we'll leave you. We are going to test this. So many things have been argued ahead of this election. The Muslim ticket, which Tinubu had adopted, you can see the furor it is generating across the country. It's something constitutionally he's entitled to do.
But you're not worried about that, are you?
No. Why should we be worried about what somebody has done? So long as the voters should be asked to vote. It's not about what you feel.
So that's why I'm saying
it's not about what you feel.
As a party, as a party, you're not worried about that.
Why should I be? Why should
exactly?
We're happy
so
that
let's not make that.
No. Let me tell you. I'm telling you that whatever we do, we should think about the reasonableness of what we do.
My concern, Senator Victor Umeh, is that your party believes that regardless of what else happens in other parties, you would win this election. I believe so.
Yeah, we will win because we have the best people.
So that's why I'm asking if you're not worried about the Muslim ticket of the APC.
No.
It's not a concern for your party.
No, it's because to the extent that it is not unconstitutional, I'm not worried.
Great.
But secondly, I know that people who feel that there was some sort of insensitivity in managing the feelings of others, the voters will be allowed to decide it.
Do you see that with the way you feel and the way you perceive Nigerians to feel about the Muslim ticket? Do you see that as an outright failure for the APC going into the elections?
Terry, we need each other in Nigeria. I've argued it extensively. Nobody can do it alone. You cannot play ostrich to things that will either unite you or dismember you, put you apart. There must be inclusiveness.
This is a party
in the things
issue.
we do.
Senator Umeh, this is a party issue.
Yeah, the party has done that.
So I'm asking you, as a member of the Labour Party,
Yes.
if you see that the Muslim ticket of the APC is sort of a cancellation on their part because Nigerians will not go there, or you are still afraid or concerned that they may carry the day.
I don't even know what the voters will do. But I can tell you that from reactions this has generated, it is obvious that it's going to have effect on the voting pattern next year.
What sort of effect?
If you say that you don't consider others, those you don't consider will not consider you.
There are concerns that Peter Obi did not work for the people of Anambra State, as he claims. Good thing you're from Anambra State. So you would know this very well. Did Peter Obi, or better still, what did Peter Obi do for the people of Anambra State that could be replicated at the federal level if he becomes president?
Well, when Peter came to Anambra State was below the ground. We're in the bottomless pit. Everything was wrong, the way it is with Nigeria today. The way it is with Nigeria today. And when he came, he asked that question, are we caused or are we the cause of our problems? That was his poser, when he came. We moved around the state with this is a question, and started to turn the place around. Got people convinced that he had something to offer, and he was voted for, and he won. He won the election, though they stole it, but they got it back through the courts. For the 8 years he was governor, he brought Anambra State out from the bottomless pit and put Anambra State on the national map of progress. It was able to turn things around.
What did he do? What are the developmental projects that he did in Anambra State?
You see, when somebody tells you that somebody is below the ground, you won't understand what somebody who is in the pit is experiencing until you bring him to the land surface.
In terms,
he was able to restructure a lot of things, both education.
What did he do in education? What did he do in education?
He brought Anambra State from the 26th position in education in Nigeria to number 1 before he left. So you see, when you do structural repositioning, people will be waiting for skyscrapers, but the foundation to development is key. It came with Anambra State Integrated Development Strategy, and it was a development tool that they used to work in all the sectors of Anambra State's life. And he was able to do so much and achieve it. Restored peace and security in the state before he left. Before, we had Bakassi. Bakassi was cutting off people's head. You see young men, they tie red cloth in the head, and they patrolling the streets. Once they see somebody, they put knife, they say the knife has turned red, that you're a criminal. He put a stop to all those things. So the barbaric things that were happening in the Anambra State of that time got cleared out. He was able to restructure the civil service, paid a backlog of pensions and gratuities, and restored confidence on the part of workers. So you see, these are things you cannot measure with skyscrapers and all that. If you're able to do that, you have made wonderful contribution. He built roads, of course, built bridges as well. So he had a positive finish as governor of Anambra State and applauded by all and sundry.
So can you confirm or deny that the roads that he built, according to the reports that we eventually received, that they eventually, after about 5 years, began to wear off?
Well, this is the claim you get from the opposition all the time. What we lack in Nigeria is maintenance culture. If there's no road you build without maintenance, that will not dilapidate. There's no infrastructure.
Within 5 years?
Within 5 years, it can. Yes, it can. But those who are saying that, they're not being fair. It depends on the roads they're talking about. There are roads that RCC built. Those are still standing till today. From Onitsha to Oka through the old road. It's still like that. Strong asphalted road.
What's your reaction?
There's one Setraco built from Umunze through Agwata, through Iboku, it's still there. Those roads are still good.
What's your reaction to those who say that Peter Obi invested state funds in his business?
He didn't invest state funds in his business. He did not. In his business. His business. No. Maybe the state partnered in a business. He also has interest. It's a share. If a company sells shares and the government buys shares in that venture, that his company, his family company bought share in that company, has not made it illegal. It's a private company.
You're saying that if the state invests...
The important thing is the security of the investment of the state.
You're saying that if him as governor invests the state's money in a business where he has interest,
the state invested.
Okay. He was governor at the time.
No, it doesn't matter. You see, let me tell you, governments invest in stocks and shares.
Senator Umeh,
bonds.
The state would not make an investment without the approval of the governor.
Of course, the Executive Council approved it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I'm asking you, if you say that he may have invested state funds in a business on behalf of the state, but in a business that he has interest in, how is that okay?
The conflict will be if the state fund was diverted, to his advantage. It's a business. At the end of every year, the company declares profit and shares the profit. If the state gets its profit proportionately, what is wrong with that? Is the money lost? The money is not lost. The money is even from accounts
there's
I
something
read
called conflict of interest.
It's not conflict because it doesn't manage the company. That's a mistake. The brewery they're talking about, the Sabna Brewery, Sabmila Brewery, is the owners largely are from South Africa.
But he has shares in the company.
Yes, to the extent of the shares the company has interest before has. It doesn't matter. People will come and buy. What's wrong with that?
So let me tell you what I think.
I think
what may be obvious about that is that if he invests state funds in a business where he owns shares, that affects his shares positively, doesn't it?
No, he doesn't manage the business.
Yes, but it affects his shares positively.
If the business fails, he loses his own money.
Maybe that's why he would invest state funds.
So, but the important thing is that the business succeeded. And the government is cooling off with dividends, profits. It's all profits now. The government every year takes out hundreds of millions, as profits. They're not telling anybody.
Let's talk about you a little now. Yeah. Why do you believe that you will win the senatorial seat under the Labour Party?
Well,
considering how unpopular the Labour Party is in your state.
The Labour Party is very popular in Nigeria.
In Anambra State.
In my state, it's very popular. It is the #1 party now. You don't know. Obedient movement.
Your state is still under APGA.
Yes, for the state government administration. Yeah, last year, we made it possible. I was part of making it possible. Yes, I'm in Labour Party now.
Labour Party is more popular than APGA in Anambra State.
I don't want to talk down on anybody, but I want to tell you that when the elections come, you see what people will do. I tell you that people have confidence in what I can do. I've done it before. I've represented our people very vocally in the parliament. When you go to the parliament and you don't speak against injustice, what are you going there to do? People argue that they attract small dividends of democracy by doing conspiracy projects. That's not the essence of going to the parliament. If you go to the parliament, you become a lawmaker. Building roads, all kinds of projects remain the work of the executive. It was because at some stage, parliamentarians, when they go home, people don't appreciate what they're doing, that they introduce constituency projects, so that they see something that they will go and put, even if it is borehole. No. The parliamentarians should focus on making laws that will lead to good governance of the country. That's what it is. Ensuring that there is balance, ensuring that there is unity of the country through our actions, the things we do, interventions we make.
All right, so
this is an area nobody can even challenge me among all my opponents. Nobody can challenge me in terms of being able to stand up to speak to anybody.
Okay, so all right,
so I think they appreciated that because I was in the Senate for 17 months, but within those 17 months, our people were exceedingly happy with what I was able to do. And that issue of constituency project they're talking about, I was able to transparently, in 17 months, attract 1.3 billion naira projects for them, transparently. I don't think that it is by wish that people will love you or vote for you. It's by their belief in what you can do. Which senator in Nigeria will give 76 students university scholarship, and 1 year after the scholarships were awarded, you couldn't go back to the Senate, and you sustained it till all of them graduated? I did it. 76 university graduates. I gave them scholarships in 2018. In 2019, I didn't win to go back. I transferred them to my education foundation and paid their fees, and they all graduated. It shows commitment to purpose. It wasn't because of politics.
Very well, then. Just before we go, let's stick with your time in the Senate and your senatorial ambition now.
Yeah.
You, after spending 17 months in the Senate, you experienced a part of the 8th Senate under Saraki, and then you missed out on the Senate under Ahmed Lawan. What's your assessment of both? Of both? Yes.
The Senate under Saraki, the 8th Senate, was very vibrant. You can attest to that. You were covering us. Terry, you covered us. And I'm sure you saw some of my contributions in the 8th Senate. Lawan was our Senate leader, a very nice man. But when he became Senate president in this one, you can see that there is a lull of activism in the Senate. The Senate is no longer as boisterous as it used to be.
You blame that on the leadership?
Yeah, anything that doesn't go well should be blamed on the leadership. He's trying to be a gentleman. Nigeria is not where you do gentleman and succeed. Things are going bad. And the senators there now, when I was there, Dino was there, Senator Misau was there. You know, people who stand up and shout at Nigeria, and tell them, you are failing. We don't have such people in this 9th Senate. Everybody is a gentleman or gentlewoman. And it doesn't go well. That was why last week, when they came up with impeachment threats.
So you advise the Senate not to go ahead with that?
No, they won't achieve it. There's nothing to advise them on. They can't achieve it. Even the notice that the senators will bring will be served on the members personally.
Individually, yes.
Individually. Well, some senators don't even come to work.
Senator Victor Umeh, I thank you very much for finding the time to do this.
Thank you, Terry.
And I wish you well as you try to return to the Senate.
Yeah, thank you.
That's Political Paradigm. Thank you very much for your time. YouTube, Political Paradigm, Channels TV. Also, you can find this edition and others there. Once again, thank you. I'm Terry Ikoui. Goodbye.